The House Rules Committee will come to order. Would the clerk please take the attendance?
Chair Schuette.
Here.
Representatives Aragona, Wenzel, Martin, Ostmus, DeBoer, Witwer, Liberati, Herzberg. Mr. Chair, you do have a quorum.
Thank you. Representative Postumus moves to adopt the minutes of the October 23rd meeting. There being no objection, the motion prevails by unanimous consent. Committee will now be taking up House Bill 4929, and there is a substitute for House Bill 4929, substitute H1, which would clarify that the department may surrender a license if it is determined that it is being done to avoid disciplinary action, and that any surrender does not entitle the license holder to a refund, and that the licensee may apply for a relicensure after 8 years with a 90-day effective date. Those were all the feedback we got from the department. Appreciate that collaboration with them. And Representative Aragona moves to adopt the substitute. Would the clerk please call the roll?
On the motion to adopt the substitute, Chair Schuette.
Yes.
Representatives Aragona, Wenzel, Martin, Postmus, DeBoer, Witwer, Liberati, Herzberg. Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The motion does prevail.
The substitute is adopted. In support of 4929 and 4930, we have Jarrett Scorp from the Mackinac Center for Public Policy. In support of 4930, we have Marnie Treemsta from Lara, and sorry, Marnie also is in not wishing to speak in support of 4929. And Representative Aragona, and there is also an H1 substitute, a minor fix on 4930, and Representative Martin, is that on 4929? Oh, okay. There is an amendment to the H1 substitute, a minor fix to make language on page 3, line 20, consistent with the rest of the section. The committee will go at ease. And just to completely make myself very clear, there is an amendment to the H1 substitute, a minor fix. The committee will come to order. And for the 4th time, there is an amendment to the H1 substitute, a minor fix to make language on page 3, line 20, consistent with the rest of the section. And Representative Martin, our parliamentarian, moves to adopt the amendment. Would the clerk please call the roll?
On the motion to adopt the amendment, Chair Schuette.
Yes.
Representatives Aragona, Wenzel, Martin, Postmus, DeBoer, Witwer, Liberati, Herzberg. Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The motion does prevail.
The amendment is adopted. And Representative Martin moves to report the bill with recommendation as amended as a new substitute.
On the motion to report, Chair Schuette.
Yes.
Representatives Aragona, Wenzel, Martin, Postmus, DeBoer, Witwer, Liberati, Herzberg. Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The motion does prevail.
The bill is reported with recommendation as amended as a new substitute. And now we will be taking up House Bill 4930. I already read in those cards of support. And there is a substitute for 4930, substitute H2, which would clarify that an applicant must meet all requirements under the law or rules of licensure and adds a 90-day effective date. Representative Aragona moves to adopt the substitute. Would the clerk please call the roll?
On the motion to adopt the H2 substitute, Chair Schuette.
Yes.
Representatives Aragona, Wenzel, Martin, Postmus, DeBoer, Witwer, Liberati, Herzberg. Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The motion does prevail.
The substitute is adopted. And Representative Wenzel moves to report the bill with recommendation. Would the clerk please call the roll?
On the motion to report, Chair Schuette.
Yes.
Representatives Aragona, Wenzel, Martin, Postmus, DeBoer, Witwer, Liberati, Herzberg. Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The motion does prevail.
The bill is reported with recommendation as substitute H2. And now we will take up House Bill 4221, and Representative Witwer moves to report the bill with recommendation. Would the clerk please call the roll?
On the motion to report, Chair Schuette,
Yes.
Representative Zeragona, Wenzel, Martin, Posthumous, DeBoer, Witwer, Liberati, Hersberg. Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The motion does prevail.
The bill is reported with recommendation. All right. Thank you, all members of the committee, on those votes. And we're now going to be hearing testimony on House Bill 4346 and House Bill 4347. Representative Kunse will be testifying along with David Ladd from Kelly Cawthorn. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Great. Gentlemen, you can begin when you're ready.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, thank you for having me here today. I do apologize, I came from the Ag Committee, so I apologize for being late. But what we're doing here is we're taking some of the increase from the non-tribal online gaming, and we're going to direct this into county fairs. So there's no gambling at the county fairs, there's no wagering. We've gone to great lengths to make sure we're not going to do that. But these are the harness racers. These are the people that are our local horse people. So it's very important to me. Does everybody have, oh, look at this. They have it, we have the board. And I actually found my laser pointer, but I don't know. Oh, no, it doesn't work on the screen. Yeah, is that legal? My apologies. What the graph shows is the increase in the money going to the school aid fund, the growth of school aid funding from online gaming taxes. So we start off in 2021, and we revise this to have our most current Michigan Gaming Control Board data. So if we go to the very far right column, it shows $746 million, and that's going to be in 2028. Now, obviously, that's a projection, but it's going there. And at the bottom, you almost can't see it on this scale, is the $15 million that the Ag Equine Fund is going to grow into. Again, my intent was to point at the screen, but it is the smaller amount. So that's what we're trying to do. We originally looked at this and said, well, it should be $15 million. Let's make it there. Let's take it all the way. Right now, it's capped at $3 million. And there was concern, so we said, why don't we grow into this? 6, 9, 12, 15. So that's what we're going to do. And like I said, the scale, it's almost hard to see. In 2026, it's that rounding error at the bottom. So, you have anything? Are there questions for me at this time? So again, I know it is a redundant, but I want to say again, this will not in any way result in a reduction of school aid funding. That is not the situation here. So what is the most recent Michigan Gaming Control Board was 37% in 2025. It increased 37%. So that is an accurate number. The numbers up until and including 2025 are not projections. So I welcome any questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Representative Posthumous.
Thank you for your testimony. Do you guys have any data on how Michigan compares to other Midwest states with regard to the equine industry and how this might impact that?
So it's nothing but good. I don't know, Mr. Chair, if I can ask one of our harness racers to come up and possibly answer that question. Mr. Shunk, would you be willing? If the chair approves.
Sure. Wouldn't mind introducing yourself as well. Yeah.
Hi, Rick Shunk, horseman, county fair enthusiast. Briefly, my wife and I have raced horses someplace in the United States for 44 consecutive years. So a little bit of experience with it. Obviously, this state has been behind in some of the revenue stuff with the fairs and all racing, because with expansion of gambling, it's had a huge impact in Indiana, Ohio, which I race at, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. This legislation and this added money, I don't know if you could do it at any better time. It's an unbelievable thing that needs to happen. The great thing about it is, just like Representative Kunse just said, this is being accomplished with no additional gaming whatsoever. So it's a great question. It will be a huge, huge shot in the arm for purses, breeders' awards, for veterinarians. The trickle-down effect is unbelievable for me. And it will be immediate. I mean, sure, it takes time for it to all work. But the states around us have been very, very successful. We've lost a lot of horsemen in this state because of that. Our operation, we have a place in Michigan, obviously, but we had, when Proposal A did not pass in 2004, our business plan had to change, and so we now have farms in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. They will all come back to Michigan. Hope I answered it correct. I hope it was what you were looking for. Actual numbers or data, pretty easy to pull off within websites, but that's the
Representative Aragona?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative, for bringing this forward. So just to clarify about the numbers, you said there was no cut to school aid. From what I can't really see that on the screen, but I got it in front of me. So in 2026, so next year, there will be $595 million from online gambling. And you said it was non-tribal online gambling?
Correct. So these would be the 3 corporate casinos.
Okay. So so the 3 corporate casinos, there will be an increase to school aid by 595, but what you're proposing is to take 9 million of that.
Yes.
Correct?
If we, and again, I really wish I had my pointer. If we look in the bottom left corner of your sheet, it breaks it down by percentages. We had a 43% growth, a 23% growth. In 2025, currently year to date, we've had a 37% growth in online non-tribal gaming revenue. We projected 12% growth going forward, which to me is incredibly conservative, right? To go from a 43, from a 37, to say that it's only going to grow at 12%. And what we're saying is we'd like to take some of that percentage and redirect it to county fairs.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we are not, there is no reduction. You know, in 24 to 25, it grew $143 million.
Yep. Okay.
And we're estimating now, obviously we have to estimate to 26, we estimate 64 million, but I think it'll be, I would bet.
So this fund isn't
more than that.
This fund isn't fluctuating. It's on an upward trajectory.
Correct.
When would you expect it to level off? I mean, there's only 10 million people in Michigan, and how much can they gamble, right?
That's a great question. When our former predecessors sat in these chairs, they estimated the total revenue of, again, the non-tribal online gaming revenue at $150 million. They said it will never exceed that, and it'll take 15 years to get there. Well, it's at 531. This is one of the times where we estimated on the wrong side. So that is, I don't know. I don't have an estimate on what the maximum would be. It's superseded anything we've ever estimated on.
Okay. But I mean, if it was 40% as of this year,
Right.
safe to say that, like you said, 26, 27, 28, 12% might be a little conservative.
Correct.
Okay. And then obviously you're in rules. So which departments are promulgating rules and why?
It's
MDOT.
MDOT.
Yeah, Michigan Department of Agriculture, they will handle everything within, they handle most of the stuff within the equine development fund that happens there.
Okay.
All the revenue will be there, and then MDOT will be the one distributing it from that point.
Okay. And then where does the excess dollars, I mean, this is going to the Ag Equine Industry Development Fund. Can you touch on that real quick as to what that is?
Sure. Okay, and let's make sure, as Representative said here, you understand all the increases from the gaming fund, the maximum that we can take out of there over 4 years is $15 million. So next year, it's an additional 3 million. It goes 6, 9, 12, and 15. So every year, there's an additional amount coming in, and that way, it's a little bit controlled. It's not all just an influx of money all at one time. It takes time to buy horses. It takes time to breed horses. It takes time to do everything that way. So that influence of money that comes into the Equine Development Fund, within this legislation, the next legislation we'll talk to, it's very specific on how it's to be spent for the first time. Like a certain percent of the money that goes into the Equine Development Fund is for purses at county fairs. A certain percent goes to the 83 county fairs that are in the state. It was very much needed to work through that Equine Development Fund, so it wasn't just an appropriation process. It was a process of $12 million going into the fund. This is exactly who and how and everybody that gets it in. I thought it was very workable. I think MDOT, even though it's going to be obviously more work for them, we've had discussions back and forth. It's a very workable fund. Very, very. And it's only for Michigan residents. Okay, let's make sure this is any of that additional 15 money, and it states right in the next bill, cannot go to a person that's not a.
And through MDARD, we did not do a dollar amount, we did a percentage. So they distribute a percentage of the fund. We don't have to revisit this every year when it comes back up, the additional funding.
Representative Liberati?
Do you know how many fairs or facilities are going to take advantage of this in the state?
Well, what we do know is this. There's 83 county fairs in the state of Michigan. Every single county fair within the state, that even if they do not have harness racing, are going to get a sum of money based on this program. So now all the 4-H'ers, everything we're talking about, but it's great discussion. I wanted to say it later. Every single county fair within this state now is getting some revenue to continue to operate. A lot of the county fairs in this state have really been suffered from inflation, from insurance, from everything that all business people are involved with. There's maybe 5 county fairs in the state that are doing well. 70 of them are struggling. So to answer your question, everybody's getting revenue from one side of it. If they have harness racing, which Mr. Pluto will talk about later, if there is harness racing involved at this track, which when I was president of Michigan Harness Horsemen 25 years ago, we had 40 county fairs. Half the fairs had racing. Now it's probably, how many is it now, Kim? 22 left now. So let's say there should be 30 fairs participating in a racing program, and those county fairs that do participate get additional revenue the following year. Take care of it. Great question.
So just a question on the hold harmless provision for the city of Detroit. So not more than 55% of internet gaming can be dedicated for that provision. Is there, since we're diverting some of that growth, is there any concern that that would impact that?
No, part of the original. Some percentage.
Okay. Any other questions, members of the committee? All right, gentlemen, thank you for your testimony. Yeah. And we also have wishing to speak in support of the bill, Kim Pluta from the MHHA. Hit the green button, please.
Sorry. Thanks for having me. I'm a third generation horseman. Lived here my whole life. My kids are 4th generation horsemen. I have a 21-year-old that drives horses as we speak. So this impact of this would be huge for all the families, the horse families in Michigan. It also would bring, revenue to our farms, we all buy hay, grain, whatever. Excuse me. And also, it keeps our fairs up and going. there is a huge struggle with our county fairs. I work with a lot of the fairs maintaining their racetracks and stuff like that. They have no money. They need help. So we're hoping that, you know, this would help not only the horsemen, but our county fairs and our communities around our fairs. Yeah, that's about all I have.
Thank you for the testimony. I think we may have been questioned out from the previous testimony, but thank you for your time. Appreciate it. All right, the committee will now be hearing testimony on House Bill 5103, and Representative Van Workum will be testifying.
Good morning. It's good to see you, this distinguished group of colleagues. Happy to testify before you. Today we're going to talk about erosion and what was happening in the Great Lakes. Back in 2020, we had remarkable high water levels at that time, and homeowners were literally having their houses fall into the lake. And they were having a dickens of a time trying to get permits from Deagle to put in structures and put in sandbags and things like that to prevent further erosion and sacrificing their homes. For those that were able to get it, eventually they put in various different structures, one of the main ones being sandbags. And that helped. And back in the summer of 2023, all of a sudden these homeowners received these letters saying that you need to remove these structures. One, water was still high or threat of being high. And two, a lot of these structures have become part of the stabilization of the dune. You had the sand coming up over them, you had vegetation growing around them, that actually removing those barriers would actually affect the dune negatively. So this legislation pretty much is saying that we want to keep these sandbags in place, but instead of going through the difficult process of getting the Deagle permits, complying with local ordinances that already have or are in place so that they can get the permit to be put in place these sandbags. There were some concerns about it of making sure that we have walkability, that these structures are not preventing access to the lake, and we've clarified that as part of this legislation. But the goal here is so when we have those threats, we don't take it to the brink where these houses are potentially falling into the lake, but people can talk to their locals, submit the plan to Deagle, submit what they're going to put in place, the location of what they're going to put in place, so that they can have an expedited review and get them set so that they can protect their homes. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Representative. I definitely remember seeing some of that imagery back in 2020, and it's frightening when lake levels can fluctuate how they do, the potential loss of property and not being able to do anything about it. So appreciate you bringing the legislation forward. So the legislation says that when reviewing an application for a permit under the rule, the department will give deference to a landowner's rights over public access rights. Could you explain why that's particularly important in this case?
Obviously, property rights is an ongoing question, particularly with the legislature, but what this is trying to do to make sure that people still have that access. So there is language in there to make sure that these structures will not affect the walkability of the shoreline.
Thank you. Any other questions, members of the committee? Appreciate the testimony. Thank you, Representative. Yeah. We have one card to read in. Not wishing to speak in opposition to the bill is Dylan Geschald from Eagle. Sorry if I Mispronounced your name there. We will now be hearing testimony on House Bill 4926, and Representative St. Germain will be testifying. Representative, please begin when you're ready. Hope you brought your hard hat, yeah. Alicia, could you hit your mic? Yeah, there you go, thank you.
There you go. I'm short too. Thank you. This bill, House Bill 4926, is a simple bill that aims to make life a little easier for our licensed health officials. Currently, we have a system in place where the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, otherwise known as LARA, tracks all continuing education requirements. As we know, maintaining the integrity and competence of our licensed health professionals is essential for public safety and trust. I think we can all agree on that. Under current law, LARA oversees the licensing of health professionals, including the management of their continuing education records. However, the existing system has its shortcomings, leading to unnecessary complications for both the health professional and their employers. If someone has a minor infraction on their record, such as a slip-up with their continuing ed requirements, it can hold them back from doing their job, as well as the loss of income for both the employee and employer. So every 2 years, I have an insurance license, and every 2 years, I have to go through my continuing education requirements. I've been doing that for 28 years. And so some of you might think, you know, how hard is it to go online and complete these credits? Well, not long ago, I was faced with an family emergency where my husband had to undergo heart surgery. And even though I had 2-3 weeks to complete those continuing ed requirements, my life shut down. And I wasn't thinking of anything else. So lo and behold, I was late. I was reported to my employer, and I had to jump through a whole lot of hoops just to get back on track and get to, doing my job and continuing on with my career. So I know what that's like. This legislation will enable individuals to submit an application for the removal of these minor continuing education violations, provided that they completed the CTE credits. So in short, House Bill 4926 removes burdensome red tape and supports our health professionals. Thank you, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you, Representative. I know in our effort to cut red tape as a caucus, we're also trying to look at ways where we can reduce the burden of government, and this is one where, in face of a mix-up or a family emergency, we would provide that type of flexibility, and I think it'll help government work better for Michiganders. So appreciate you bringing it forward, and I know your office has been engaging with the department on the rule promulgation, and they're supportive of it. Great.
Yep.
Well, thank you. This is an important legislation. Representative Witwer. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. I, too, think it's really important to try and cut as much red tape as we can.
Yeah.
However, I've been in healthcare my entire life, and it is really important that we can trust our healthcare providers to stay up to date with late-breaking whatever is going on. And I also think there are good reasons, like you just said about your husband, where you would miss these things. But how many, does this bill, or are you willing to change the bill at all so that it would identify how many set-asides someone could have? Should it be an indefinite amount of set-asides when it comes to someone's health care?
Yeah, great question. And of course, I'm willing to work with Laura and make the bill as best as possible, of course. Yeah.
I think we, in our communications, we're in active communication with the department right now on how many set-asides to have. So thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Great. Any other questions, members of the committee? All right. Representative, appreciate that testimony. And Representative Herzberg moves to excuse absent members. And there being no objection, the motion prevails by unanimous consent. And there being no further business before the committee will stand adjourned.